Welcome, dear children, to the new chapter in physics, that is motion in a plane. We have already discussed the different types of motion like one-dimensional motion, two-dimensional motion, three-dimensional motion, etc. That motion in two dimension is otherwise called as motion in a plane. So for motion in a plane, to describe motion in a plane, we need at least two coordinates, that is either x and y, or y and z, or x and z. Anyway, two coordinates are required to describe the position of an object which is in motion in a plane. That is why it is called as two-dimensional motion. We already discussed it. Now, which are the examples of motion in a plane? If an ant is moving over the wall, that movement of the movement of the ant over the wall is an example of motion in a plane. When you write with the pen, that movement of the tip of the pen on the surface of the paper is an example of two-dimensional motion. So there are many examples. There are two important examples of motion in a plane, that is the projectile motion and uniform circular motion, or simply circular motion. So what do you mean by projectile? An object which is thrown, it is called as a projectile. So the thing is this: when an object is thrown, that object will be moving along a curved path, but that movement, the entire movement, takes place in a plane, single plane. That is why we call it as motion in a plane or motion in two dimensions. So projectile motion is an example of motion in a plane, and circular motion also is an example of motion in a plane. Okay, so these two examples we'll be studying in detail in this lesson. But before we come to that point, or to describe motion in a plane, we need to discuss about the scalar and vector quantities. So what do you mean by scalar and vector quantities? You know, physical quantities, they are classified into scalar and vector. Scalar means the quantities which have only magnitude, no direction. Vector quantities, they have magnitude and direction. The examples of scalar quantities are length, mass, time, electric current, temperature, area, distance, speed, energy, density, power, etc. Whereas vector quantities, the examples are familiar to you: displacement, velocity, force, acceleration, momentum, weight, impulse, pressure. All these are examples of what vector quantities. Okay, so this is how the physical quantities are classified into scalar and vector. We already dealt with displacement, velocity, acceleration, etc. in previous chapter, but it was motion in one dimension, and it was very easy for us to show a vector quantity in one dimensional motion, because in one dimensional motion there are only two directions possible, either positive or negative. So with positive or negative sign, we were showing this what the direction of vector quantities. But coming to two-dimensional motion, that means motion in a plane, we cannot what show the direction simply by adding plus or minus sign. Okay, so first of all we need to discuss how to represent a vector quantity, or how to add two vector quantities, how to subtract them, how to multiply them. That means that vector representation and vector algebra we have to find, or we have to discuss first. So that is the next topic of discussion, that is how can we represent a vector. Okay, so in print media, a vector is represented by bold letters. For example, if you have vector A, that vector A will be written in bold. It will be printed in bold letters. So now you understood how difficult it is to make a letter bold while writing. So in writing, what we do is, in writing we use the letter along with an arrow mark on the top. So in writing, this is how we represent a vector quantity. So in print media, usually bold letters. If one letter is written in bold, so it means that that represents a vector quantity. So that's how we use or we represent a vector quantity. Okay. Now one more representation, that is graphical representation. So in this method, we represent a vector by a straight line directed from its initial point to its terminal point. So this shows a vector. So graphical method of representing a vector with a straight line with an arrow mark. Okay, so the direction of that arrow mark, it is in the direction of that vector, and length of the line shows what the magnitude, or it is a measure of magnitude of the vector. We cannot say it is directly gives the magnitude, because bigger values and all, so we need to take proper scale, then we need to represent that vector graphically. So in that case, length of the line, we can say it is a measure of magnitude of the vector. So length stands for, the length of the vector stands for magnitude of the vector, and arrow mark stands for direction. So this is what we mean by graphical representation. So to show magnitude, the thing is this, we can draw the length as different. So this shows a vector of larger magnitude, and this shows a vector of smaller magnitude. You can show in any direction. So this is how we represent different vectors in the case of what graphical method. In graphical method, this is how we represent vectors of different magnitude and different direction. Now, there are different types of vectors. So, we were discussing how to represent a vector. Now, we discuss different types of vectors. First vector is equal vectors. So, what do we mean by equal vectors? Two vectors are said to be equal if they have same magnitude and direction. So the two vectors are equal only if they have same magnitude and direction. Look in this diagram. You have two vectors, vector A and vector B. Both of them have the same length. The length of the two vectors are same. And what about the arrow mark? The two arrow marks are in the same direction, means both A and B have same magnitude and direction. Hence, vector A and vector B are equal vectors. So that is about equal vectors. Now coming to next, that is, this also represents equal vectors. So we can see these two vectors here also, vector A and vector B are equal vectors but in some other direction. But looking in diagram B, in this diagram, you have two vectors, vector A dash and vector B dash. They are of equal length. You can use your ruler and measure the length of O dash S dash and O dash P dash. You can see that both of them are of same length. But what about the directions? They are not different. The directions of those two vectors are not same. They are different. Okay. So are they equal vectors? No. They are unequal vectors. But they are of same magnitude but directions are different. Okay. So that is about equal vectors. Now coming to next type, negative of a vector. A vector which has the same magnitude as the given vector but opposite direction is called negative of that vector. For example, if we have a vector A in this direction as shown in figure, negative of vector A will be in opposite direction. So this is actually what negative of vector A. That negative of vector A is, they have written as what, A dash. So A dash is what, negative of vector A. The thing is this negative of vector A is having same magnitude as that of vector A, but direction is just opposite. So that's what we mean by negative vector. A vector which has the same magnitude but opposite direction as that of a vector, given vector, is known as negative of the vector. Now, like and unlike vectors. Let's discuss like vectors first. Like vectors, they are also called as co-directional vectors, which are collinear and have the same direction. So what do you mean by collinear? Collinear means lying along the same line. Okay, and they have the same direction. So such vectors are called like vectors. Two like vectors may have equal or different magnitude. So here we don't have any condition regarding the magnitude of the two vectors, but their directions are same. If the two vectors are in same direction, that's what we mean by collinear. Okay, so if the two vectors are collinear and have the same direction, such two vectors are called as like vectors. And it is not mandatory that they should be of same magnitude. They can be of same magnitude, but no problem if the magnitudes are different. So the examples are given. Now, first example, you have two vectors which are of what same direction, but their lengths are different. It means that these two lines, it represent vectors of same direction but different magnitude. But these two vectors, that means example 2, the two vectors, they are in the same direction and they are of same length, so they make what equal vectors. So equal vectors will be what like vectors, but all like vectors may not be equal vectors. All equal vectors will be like vectors, but all like vectors need not be equal vectors. Now coming to unlike vectors. Unlike vectors are those vectors which are collinear but have opposite sense of direction with respect to each other. These are also called anti-parallel vectors. So as you can see from the figure, you have two vectors, vector A and vector B. They are along the same line. They are collinear. They are along the same line, these two. Okay, along the same line, but directions are opposite to each other. That such vectors are called as unlike vectors, and another name for those unlike vectors, it is anti-parallel vectors. This also is an example of anti-parallel vectors. That means the two vectors which are directed opposite. Okay, so that's what we mean by unlike or anti-parallel vectors. Now, the next type of vector is unit vector. What do you mean by unit vector? A vector whose modulus is unity is called a unit vector. It can be obtained by dividing a vector by its modulus. What do you mean by modulus? Modulus means magnitude, the numerical value alone, without considering the sign. Numerical value alone we are considering. That's what we mean by modulus value. Okay, modulus value means that the numerical value alone without sign. Now, if vector A is a vector, then this is how we write modulus. Then, unit vector is defined as vector A divided by modulus of vector A. And unit vector is represented with caret symbol or hat symbol, we can say. Vector A with the cap symbol. Vector I cap. So, that's how we call the unit vector. Vector J cap, vector K cap, like that unit vectors we can define. So a unit vector is a vector whose magnitude is unity. Okay, so what is the purpose of this unit vector? The purpose of unit vector is to show the direction. And unit vector in the direction of vector A is given by A cap is equal to vector A divided by modulus of vector A. Here modulus of vector A means magnitude of vector A. Usually a unit vector has no dimensions and no units. It simply gives the direction of the vector. That is the purpose of unit vector. And vector A you can write in terms of unit vector as unit vector A cap into modulus of vector A, where modulus of vector A is the magnitude of that vector. So a vector is equal to magnitude times the unit vector along its own direction. So this equation is very important conceptually. How can you represent a vector in terms of its unit vector? Vector A is equal to unit vector A cap into modulus of vector A, where modulus of vector A represents the magnitude of that vector. Okay, so A cap stands for direction and modulus of vector A stands for what? Magnitude. So this is how we can represent a vector. Now standard directions we have x, y, z, that orthogonal Cartesian system coordinates you have. So the unit vectors along x, y and z directions, they are chosen to be I cap, j cap and k cap. So what are I, j, k? They are the unit vectors along the directions x, y and z. So along x direction I cap, y direction j cap and along z direction you have k cap. Now coming to the next one, that is null vector. What do you mean by a null vector? When initial and terminal points of a vector coincide, it is said to be a null vector or a zero vector. A null vector has modulus 0 and can have any arbitrary direction. This means that it is a vanishing vector which is not a scalar. Okay, so that is about null vector. So if the initial and terminal points coincide, it is said to be a null vector. So null vector has its magnitude 0 and hence no direction, or we can say any arbitrary direction. So that's what we mean by null vector. Now the examples of null vector: the position vector of a stationary object lying at the origin. The position vector of a stationary object lying at the origin. Origin means 0, so that position vector is a null vector. Or acceleration vector of an object moving with uniform velocity. For a body in uniform motion, the acceleration vector, that also is 0, a null vector, are physical examples of null vectors. So examples of null vectors and some properties of null vectors are: first one, when a vector is added to a null vector, then the resultant is the same vector. Okay, just like adding 5 plus 0, no. So when 0 is added with, that means a null vector is added with a vector, the resultant will be the same vector. When a real number is multiplied by a null vector, then the result also is a null vector. When a vector is multiplied by a null vector, then the result is a null vector. Okay, so these things actually we know in multiplication. That's what. So that was about the different types of vectors. Now we have multiplication of a vector by a scalar. Okay, so the thing is this: you have a vector A, that vector A is to be multiplied by, so you have vector A, that vector A is to be multiplied by a positive quantity lambda. So we have this what the new physical quantity or new what that quantity, that is lambda A. Now, if this lambda is a negative real number, then the direction of lambda A will be opposite to that of vector A. Okay, if lambda is a negative real number. If lambda is a positive real number, surely A and lambda A will be in the same direction. But here it is stated if lambda is a negative real number, then the direction of lambda A will be opposite to that of vector A. So first let's consider the case when lambda is positive. When lambda is positive, we can write lambda A is equal to lambda into magnitude of vector A. Here lambda equal to 2. Then vector A, lambda vector A, then lambda into modulus of vector A is 2 times longer than vector A and has the same direction as vector A. If lambda is negative, for example lambda equal to minus 1.5,
it means that minus lambda a is 1.5 times longer than vector a and has opposite direction as that of vector a. So these two diagrams shows those two examples. That means here a is given 2a. So twice the length of vector a. So magnitude will be 2 times that of vector a and same direction as that of vector a in this case. In the second case, A is in this direction. So minus 1.5A will be in opposite direction. And the magnitude will be 1.5 times that magnitude of vector A. So if lambda is a scalar, then lambda minus vector A is equal to minus lambda vector A, that is minus lambda A. Minus lambda minus a, that is lambda vector a. Lambda plus delta into vector a is equal to lambda a plus delta a, where delta is another scalar. Now lambda into delta into vector a is equal to delta into lambda a plus, that is the same as lambda into delta a. Now 0 into vector a, where so that is equal to 0. That 0 with the what arrow mark, that is called a null vector. So if any vector multiplied by as 0, you will get the result as null vector. Now division of vector a by a scalar lambda is equivalent to multiplication of vector a by 1 by lambda. So in all these cases, lambda has no units. What we did not mention about any unit. Now if vector A is multiplied by a scalar which has units and dimensions, then dimensions of lambda vector A will be the product of dimensions of lambda and vector A. For example, if we multiply the constant velocity vector by time, then we will get displacement vector. We know velocity is vector and time is scalar. So multiplying both, you will get what? Displacement, which is a vector quantity. So that is a point to be noted.